chairmanship, and I'd like to thank my honourable friend for securing today's timely debate when the Secretary of State has taken to the House with a statement announcing an independent water commission. And as I stated during his statement, the promise to fundamentally transform our water industry and clean up our waterways for good is welcomed and celebrated across the House. Our lakes and rivers are national treasures, yet water company executives have been degrading these resources to protect their own profits and shareholders, while the companies themselves are drowning in debt. The water system in England is at breaking point, and water companies are not being held accountable for one of the worst environmental crises in the UK, the dumping of sewage into our rivers, lakes and coastline. My honourable friend's contribution in his opening remarks mentioned that Ofwat has fined 4 or 5 water companies into the billions in fines and have currently not collected a penny. And the damage done by these water companies is no more apparent than in Chichester Harbour, which is a site of special scientific interest. It's a national landscape and it's in an unfavourable declining condition and desperately needs ambition to protect it. The British public pays these companies not only to provide us with clean water, but also to ensure safe and clean processes for wastewater and sewage while protecting our environment. Storm overflows are supposed to be exceptional, not the norm. During my election campaign, I saw a real passion among constituents on the doorsteps for addressing the problem of water pollution and sewage dumping, and it has been a pleasure meeting with passionate environmental campaigners across the constituency, such as Friends of the Ems and the group carrying out citizen science on the River Lavant, both precious chalk streams. The UK is now lagging far behind other European countries in water quality and the safety of our waterways, and our polluted rivers and lakes are becoming an anomaly in Europe. At the time of privatisation, water companies were debt-free. However, over the last 35 years, as inflation and interest rates have risen, the debt burden on UK water companies, including Southern Water, that serves my constituency of Chichester, has grown significantly, particularly because much of this debt is linked to the retail price index. Borrowings across the sector now total around 68 million, and yet during the same period, water companies have paid at least 78 billion in dividends to shareholders. An investor presentation posted on Southern Water's website earlier this month revealed that the company is seeking to borrow up to 4 billion from investors to offset 3.8 billion in debt over the next 5 years. In addition, the company has proposed a staggering 73% increase in household bills over the same period. To mitigate their debt, Southern Water is planning a large-scale investment in the Havant Thicket Reservoir, which would introduce recycled wastewater into a spring-fed drinking water supply through a process called reverse osmosis. This process has never been used for drinking water in the UK before and is typically found in severely water-stressed, landlocked countries. And although the South East has been officially designated as water-stressed, and we need to see reform coming forward to reduce abstraction on rivers such as the Ems, smaller, more environmentally sustainable solutions are available but are just not being explored because they cannot be offset against the company's debt. Of course, I'll give way.
Thank you, Chair. On that note about the water stress levels in Southern Water, we obviously share the same water provider between our constituencies, and it's worth acknowledging that a fifth of water is lost to leaks. And we've just heard that Southern Water are in discussions with a company in Norway to provide water tanked over here from Norwegian fjords to deal with the potential droughts and water shortages that will be coming up in the future. That is an absolute failure to plan and a failure to invest in infrastructure and a failure to provide reservoirs like the one we're speaking about over a long period of time. And it is clearly a failure of regulation as well.
Thank you to my honourable friend for his intervention, and I absolutely agree with you that we should be looking at investing in fixing the infrastructure that we have here rather than shipping over large quantities of water, which I'm sure is not financially stable. A company operating in this manner outside of the water industry would not be able to get away with it. So why can Southern Water and other water companies? This development at the Havant Thicket would not only affect my constituency of Chichester, but 18 constituencies across the south of England. Further, it is going to create a national blueprint for all water companies. And the project will cost a staggering £1.2 billion, and yet there's no comparable investment in wastewater management, which is sorely needed. To be clear, I am not opposed to new reservoirs, and Portsmouth Water are bringing forward the first reservoir that this country has delivered in 30 years. But while public confidence in water companies and the methodology of investment is at an all-time low, it's hard to have faith that they will deliver this project without impacting residents' water bills in the future. Southern Water's plan to invest in a huge experimental project as a way to offset their debt is not a sustainable financial model. Few scandals illustrate the failure of the previous government as clearly as the state of our rivers and seas. With 3.6 million hours of sewage dumping recorded last year, the system is rigged, and it's time to transform this irresponsible industry into an accountable service that truly delivers for the public and the environment. Thank you.